Captain Ashok Kumar Express. One more home game. I mean, how we look forward, what are the plans? The last game you have seen the second goal. It could have been stopped. From what we saw from the Champions, it could have been stopped. Had the goalkeeper been a little more alert. So one little more alertness is one area we feel that it could improve upon going forward.
Anyway, so I think you're right. I think the first and foremost to give balance to the game. I think we did very, very well for prior to the East Bengal goal. The first goal could have been avoided. The second goal, of course, you're chasing the game by that time. We make a mistake giving the ball away, and there's things that could be added on to that from that. So I do agree with that's avoidable. But I felt for the first 55 minutes prior to us losing the goal, which was avoidable, being at home, we actually did very, very well in the game. We created 5 really good chances. More than 5, but 5 really good chances if we think about it in respect of the Collins put a great cross in, Daniel's header just goes by, Daniel's got a nice ball from Lucas, the keeper makes a really good save down below, keeper has a very good save from Dinpur from the corner's delivery, and then we've good play with Lucas and Irfan, and the shot just whistles by the post. And then the big talking point that we never spoke about after the game, but we probably should have, is it certainly I'm a huge advocate of VAR, as you know. Had we had VAR the other night, we'd have had a guaranteed penalty, and Anwar Ali would have received a red card for the foul on Daniel Shima when Farouk just cuts it across the goal. Daniel's ready to tap it in, and he's dragged round to the side. So, those are big turning points. Now, that doesn't excuse the fact that when we went 1-0 behind, certainly from my stand and what I expect, our reaction wasn't good enough. But goals change games, and had we got that, because credit to East Bengal, they gave us enormous respect. They sat everybody back behind the ball, hoping for a quick counter-attack, and by not taking our chances, we've kind of played into their hands. So there's certainly learnings from that, but you're right, it's a home game, which we've not had a lot of this year, and we want to get out, score our goals, take our chances, win the game, and put a smile on the fans' faces. That's important to me, because we know we're not the best supported team in the ISL, but what we do have, we have an incredible loyal support base. You know, the Super Martians, we have the fans obviously on the other side as well, on both sides of the stadium. These are hugely loyal fans. So it's not about the numbers we have, it's the fact that they're there, follow the team through thick and thin, which they've had to, because I think since season, I came 1920, the season before that, Chennai had finished won 3 games all season. So the only relative success we've had is certainly the 2 seasons I've been here, when we took them to the final, and last year how strong we finished from a team that had been nowhere near the playoffs into the playoffs. So there are always going to be runs and periods when you've lost games. It's not nice, it's a horrible feeling. Nobody hurts more than us, I can assure you, but we're the ones that can change it, and we're the only ones that can go on that field. The fans come, please. The fans come, they support the team, but it's up to us to get a smile on their face, and to your point, do those things better. Take your chances, but even when it's 0-0, still defend the situations better. So that's something we spoke about. They're a very honest bunch, great bunch of lads, but we need to make sure there's more focus, that fire, that determination, to make sure we get back to the good qualities that Chennai's always been known for, and tomorrow provides an opportunity to do that. It'll be a tough game. I think Hyderabad are a better side, and if you even look at the last game against Goa, they had so many chances, a bit like ourselves, never took them, and they get punished heavily. We just have to make sure we're more clinical. Last few games we've not scored when we've had chances. Prior to that, we were free scoring. That's what we need to get back to. So things to learn, things to get better at, but you don't, because you've had that little mini run, become a bad team in the space of 3 weeks. Prior to the game before that, the Mumbai game that we drew, had we won that night, you went second in the league. So that shows you how tight the league can be. We need to get back to winning, and then you'll start to elevate up the league again, which we did last year when we arrived in the playoffs, and that's what we'll look to do.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good to see you.
So, Coach, from what I observed, so there were times where Lucas was asking the ball from the players, but he was not passed the ball, and it occurred some frequently in the past few matches. How do you see this?
I think when Lucas plays that position with us, that's the onus is on Lucas to be in free space to receive the ball. It's easy to say, but the bottom line is, when we have the ball, it's more than just Lucas that has to get on the ball. And Lucas had a lot of the ball the other night, and he had some nice things. He slipped Connor in a few times. He had a nice little interchange with Irfan. But I'm a huge believer in Lucas with the ability he's got, but I want to see more of it. So it's not just about saying Lucas was available. For 53 minutes, see, this is the thing, with all due respect, when people look and a game finishes and you've lost a game, then it's easy just, critical. You have to look at the game and give balance to it. If you watch the game as you did, you watched the game, yeah, you were there. So for 55 minutes, the boys were excellent. Should have been in front. At the point that we lose the goal to go one behind, and again, forgive me for repeating this, but our reaction to that wasn't good enough, and that's the bit that annoyed me. Prior to that, the boys were excellent. We should have been a couple of goals in front. So you can't just all of a sudden say, because you've lost the game, or this and that. You have to be fair and give balance to the good stuff as well, which there was an awful lot of. But you're right, we need to address the other little things. If we can free them up in space earlier, then of course that's a good point. That's something we'll look at, and that's why we go on the training ground and continue to do that. As I said, not because we've had to punch the nose. I told you this when we would beat Adisha, when we beat North East, when you beat Jamshedpur away from home, big results, that we are a team that the more we work together, the better we'll be. There'll be bumps in the road because it's a new group, and Lucas is part of that new group. And in fairness to him, we'll be the first to tell you, coming in, acclimatising to the culture, the climate, it's taken a lot of time, but you've seen some flashes of excellence from him. We need just more of that. And that's when we do that, as you see, when foreigners like Connor keep producing consistently, then of course that helps the team. So I think that's a good point. Hi, sir.
Even though we have 4 centre mids from India, but we couldn't able to see the stability in the midfield.
Sorry, say that bit again, the first bit. Even though we have
4 centre mids from India, we can't able to see the stability in the midfield of our team. So do you see that as a concern?
The stability in the midfield?
Yeah, we can see Nante in the middle.
Yeah,
but even though we have 3 players in the bench.
He's saying we have 4 Indian midfielders.
Yeah. So what is he saying? You don't want Nante playing?
That's not the meaning, but we can't able to see many players and the stability in the midfield.
Nante and Connor were excellent the other night.
He's excellent, but he doesn't have a support from the midfield.
I don't understand.
He's saying he doesn't have support.
Who doesn't have support?
So he's asking whether you want to change the Indian
what's Connor doing?
He's there, but we couldn't able to see the stability we had in the season 6.
Or season 6? Right, so at the end of the day, that's a complete... so in season 6, we had played Tapa, and we played, and in season 6, you obviously at that time you played 5 foreigners. So in season 6, when we played the 2, we had Rafa in front, we had Ondrej and Berry, we had Varskas, we had Shamte. So that's the personnel we had at that time. So I think if you're comparing the team to season 6.
No, I'm not comparing, but we couldn't able to see the same midfield engine in this season.
Well, he's got the best engine in the whole league. The whole league, bar none. He's got the best statistics in the whole league for a midfielder. So, I don't... listen, at the end of the day, it's about finding balance. I think people look at different things. But there's no doubt if we're going to play Nante, Connor and the number 10, can we get more from everybody? I think that's a fair point. If that's what you mean, can we get more? We can always get more from other people. And that's the onus on us to do that. But the man sitting next to me has been the best midfielder in the league. He's got more, he creates more chances than anybody in the whole league. Nante, I think there's still more to come from him. And of course, we spoke about Lucas earlier, if it's in that position. So we have pieces, because it's like a jigsaw. It's like putting all the bits together. And that's for me to find that best solution to do that, which we'll look to do. So it's things we always look at, for sure. Thank you. Yes?
Hi, I'm Joanne from Sportstar. So could you talk about your opponents maybe tomorrow, Hyderabad, because they are also coming into the match on the back of like 3 defeats, so they're also having a tough season.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing last season as well, where they came to Chennai on a tough run and they maybe edged out a 1-0 win.
Yeah, well, they scored a goal. They'd never been up the park. But again, as we spoke about, that was that game in particular. And all credit to them. They stuck in there. They scored the last minute, I think, off a set play that got a ricochet. And that's the other things as well. I mean, sometimes when games are tight, when you're not taking your chances, there can be uncontrollables. You know, none of you mentioned, I don't know why, you never seen it the other night, about the clear penalty in Daniel Shima. I watched him in a red card for Anwar Ali. But it's easy to talk about other stuff. So, but again, you always have to give balance. But you're right, I mean, that in many ways, as horrible as that night was, it actually was the best thing that happened to us, because what happened after that? I'll tell you what happened after that. a Shinine team that for 10 years, since the history of the club, had never won a game when it went a goal behind. Yeah. So we did it twice at home, broke records, but we went to Moenbagen, came from behind, beat them, Jamshedpur, North East, and qualified for the playoffs. So we don't want that to happen in terms of losing the game tomorrow night. But you're always looking, when you lose a game, there's lessons to be learned. There's things to be learned. The biggest two things the other night: one, we need a better reaction if something, an uncontrollable goes against you or whatever. But the first thing, there was a lot of really good things that happened early in the game. We should have been in front, could have been a couple of goals in front. Should have in my opinion, should have, without getting myself into trouble, should have been a penalty. And certainly when that happens, it's a red card because there's no attempt to play the ball. That's just the simple rules. So for me, the sooner VAR is brought in to the ISL, I want to help referees. I don't want to be criticising them. We want to help them, and VAR will do that because the lines are drawn. He's either offside or he's not. That's clear. There will always be subjective. There will always be subjective decisions. Is that a penalty? Is it not? But the clear and obvious stuff, they will get that right. The stuff in Daniel Sheeman the other night is clear and obvious. 20 minutes into a game, you go 1-0 up. The other team's down to 10 men. If you score the penalty, if not, they're still down to 10 men. So these are huge moments. But our reaction, you got hair in my eye, but anyway, our reaction certainly needs to be better than that. But there's a lot of nice pieces that we're doing. We just have to get the other, to your point, the young gentleman's point there, about maybe it's that combination, that flow through the midfield, get that a little bit better. But there's some nice stuff going on. The biggest issue for us is defensively, from the front to the back, we need to make sure we're not giving soft goals away, as the gentleman asked with the very first question of the day. I think that's fair.
For corner.
Yes.
Sudarshan from Times of India. Just to add on to the previous question, like in the reverse fixture, like when Chennai played was Alex Saji, the central defender, was a differentiator. I feel like he's too tall and so. What do you think? Like any plans with the Hyderabad defense, like or in general, what do you think about the Hyderabad?
Yeah, I think. Sorry, I never really answered your question, so I'll go back to that. I think Hyderabad. Tang Boy I like and get huge respect for. I think they've got some very good players now. They have a full complement of foreigners. They get some very talented young Indians because last year they were probably forced into giving those boys an opportunity. And Alex Saji's done well, Rabi's done well, Chung Mars came in. So I think they've got some very talented young players. As Hyderabad, it's probably a very good catchment area. Up there, Shanidi Dekhans in that area as well. So they always seem to get very good young players. So we're very respectful of them. But what I do know, and we'll be very positive tonight in our team that play tomorrow night, we're going out to win that game from the first whistle. We've been very positive in how we play, the personnel we put on the field to try and win the game. And again, I think they've got good players, but so have we. We just to make sure our boys are very best. Their very best, want to show stuff and obviously be representative of the supporters, which is huge for me. And that's what we look to do. And I mean, this young man on my left hand side epitomises everything I look for in a Shenine player. Yeah, we'll have disagreements at times, that's the way we are. But he knows what my demands are. He wears his heart on his sleeve. His energy is incredible. His quality on the ball, for me, best crosser of football in the league. But he can also score goals. He provides goals. But the work rate and the application he gives for his team, that should be, if I'm a teammate, I'm looking at thinking that's the level I want to be in terms of energy and desire and drive for my team. Anything for Connor?
My question for Connor. So Connor, after the last match, you were seen sitting sad all alone in the corner of the field, and you are isolated from all other players, and you are feeling. So how you are mentally prepared for the next game?
Yeah, I just obviously don't want to lose a game, but it's done now. Can't dwell on it. Good thing is we've got a quick turnaround, like 4 days or something after the last game. So we have to regroup. I say we've had bad spells last season, but I think from the boys that are here, especially last season, kind of have to galvanise the group a bit and say you can go through bad patches, but it's how you react. So tomorrow night will be massive for us, and hopefully we can put on a good performance. And if we do, I'm sure we'll win the game.
And I can assure you, it wasn't just Connor who was sad. All those boys were sad, having lost the game. So, yeah, they might be sitting in different places, but they all feel the same pain. Nobody likes losing football games.
So, ninth in the.
Hiya, good to see you.
The ninth, does the playoff thing occupy your mind now?
No, listen, I said, you know this, you and I go way back, we spoke many times. The important thing about playoffs is what the table shows in the last day of the season. That's when you need to be in the playoffs. Would you like to be in those positions now? Yeah, which we were. As I said, the Mumbai game, we could have went second in the league 3 games or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. So you don't become a bad team overnight. What happens is one or two may be a little bit fragile. You have to build the confidence, get that. Maybe you have to change things and look at different things. That's always part of the process, always part of it. And with all due respect, we know what we're doing because we've been successful all over the world. But yeah, listen, we'd all love to be sitting those places now. But teams, I can assure you just now, the teams that are sitting 1 to 6 now won't be 1 to 6 at the end of the season. So as we showed last year, when everybody wrote us off, I mean, season 6 was a perfect example when I came in. The club had won 3 games the season before, they were bottom of the league, and we took them not only to the final, on another day we would have won that final, the chances we had. But, and this is the other thing, you know because you've been here every year at Shanine. Shanine FC have had fantastic coaches. Sava Laszlo, Bando, Thomas, these were all good coaches. Never managed to reach a player, even with top players. Shanti, Vishal, Rahim was here at the time, Deepak, wonderful Indian players. And they still weren't there. So we know what we're doing. We did it last year again, the level and what we did broke records to do it. And of course it's not nice now losing when you've lost some games, but the only way you do that is you get out, you get your shoulders back, you're ready to go, you engage and you're positive in everything you do. And that's why when you see tomorrow we're a really positive team, get out to win a tough game, but we know when we're at our best we can win those games, and that's what we look to do. We've got to be honest, we've got to be hard working with that desire, and then the quality kicks in. It's not the other way about. You know, talent maybe many years ago, a few generations, maybe I've got you through games. It's not enough now. You've got to bring all the other qualities, and that's what we look to do, as we've done many, many times before. And when you do that, and the thing that I'm craving is that for the fans, to get a smile on their face. With fans that travel to Kerala, I know a lot of them personally, I feel for them, I engage with them when I can because I'm always open and open for conversation and chat, but we know that we want to get a smile on their face. The only way to do that is score goals and win football games, and that's what we look to do.
More than all of us, more than the fans, you know very well about Kiyan and Gurkirat, and you have signed them like for 3 years and 2 years. So what plans have you set for them?
Yeah, the same plans as anybody else. Show me that you're ready to play in the team. It's one thing, we could sign anybody, but I could sign you tomorrow. You need to show me you're ready to be in the team. You understand? So it's not just about signing somebody's name. Indian Super League's littered with history of that, signing big names. Maybe they're past their sell by date, maybe not. The good thing with those two kids is they're young players. They're young players. They never played, Gurkirat never played many minutes at Mumbai. Maybe never showed enough to get in the team. Kiyan never played many minutes at Mohun Bagan. Chennai's not any less of a club than the two we were speaking about before. So don't think for a minute we are. We've got good players. They have to show me they're ready to be in. And they've had chances at different times. In fairness to Kiyan started the game at Jamshedpur, did well through and then we moved him when Vincey got injured. So Kiyan's not done a lot wrong. Probably just got restricted with the other boys that have come in. Irfan's come in, played in a wide area, turned into an international player. And it's always the case when somebody says, oh, I would like him playing. Okay, but it's at the expense of somebody else who's also a good player. That's why you get squads. But what I would say with those two, they have exciting futures ahead. But they're the players that determine what they do in the field. We can help, we can pass on our experience, knowledge, wisdom, whatever you want to call it. But those are the boys that when they enter the field, as they both did last time out, show us that they're ready to start games, show us every day in the training field. And when they do that, fantastic. And I've always shown, I'm loyal to players. When they come in, they do well, then they stay in. The only time they get out of the team is when they lose form and they put themselves out of the team.
Your answers are all very good detail. Similarly, your plans should be in detail. How much have they been able to execute it? You feel, game after game, you have certain plans and this thing. How much have you feel they've been able to execute it?
Oh yeah. So that's a fair point. I think it's a really good point. I think ultimately, a lot of in terms of what you're building, what the plans, absolutely. I think a lot of that has been executed in part. But the final part and the key part of football is because I played there myself. The key element of football is scoring goals. That's the key element. You could be a team that's have 30% possession, limited chances. Your goalkeeper is a great game, and you maybe have a striker that punishes the opposition off one chance. So that's the point that we need to, which is my first point of the day, we need to be clinical. I was very fortunate, I played in that position. I missed many chances, but I was fortunate enough that I was able to score many goals because you need to be brave enough to put yourself in those situations. Missed a chance, okay, I'll take the next one. What we need to do is take better percentage. You won't take every chance, but we need to take a higher ratio than what we're taking just now. And if we do that, that'll see us returning to winning games and moving up the league to the gentleman's point and looking to arrive where we need to be. Everybody wants to be, everybody craves those playoffs. We're no different. I've obviously had a fantastic taste of it, doing it season 6, doing it last year at Shanine, doing it with Jamshedpur, actually winning a shield at Jamshedpur, which I don't think that'll ever be repeated with clubs of lower budgets to win a shield because of the spending of the big clubs. But we know what we're doing. The players, the young group, they'll come together, we'll get better as we do. But tomorrow is the important one because that provides the opportunity to get that going again. And to your point, when you win games, confidence is better. Everybody looks sharper, everybody looks quicker. There's no sad faces. But the one thing about our environment, it's always a positive environment. You take a punch in the nose, nobody feels more horrible than me when you lose a game, trust me. I only do football and family, I don't care for anything else. So we want to be winning football games, we want to feel good about ourselves, getting a smile on people's faces. And it's, as a head coach, it's not a responsibility we take lightly. You're not just responsible for a group of players, you're responsible for a club, for fans, for a city. You want to make sure you're representative of that. That's why we need to get back to winning ways.
Coach, you were speaking about fixing the bits and pieces. So have you set any eye on the winter transfer window to fix those bits and pieces?
Fixing, adding to the pieces. And listen, I'm always looking ahead. There's always the club we're always going to have to be a club that's going to have to look and see, as I've done when I've been in India football, if there's a good player that becomes available, and ordinarily there'll be a young player because obviously what we budget wise, everything else. But if there's something there in the January market that I think can help us, then we're open to it, and that's what it needs to be. So it needs to be a continued involvement. But not just there, you're happy with that. We're always looking to try and be better because that helps the group. So and that's what we look to do. A couple of he's always asked about injuries. So just to finish, obviously Ankit's now back. He trained with the group today, so hopefully now he can step up. Whether he's able to be back for the Mumbai game, then time will tell. But now he's able to come back with the group. Jip was sure had a little reaction, so he'll not be available tomorrow. And Gurkarat just felt a little niggle at the end, but hopefully he'll be okay to be involved tomorrow. But we'll know better tomorrow morning. Out with that, everybody else is available. All good?
Coach,
Last up.
Yeah.
So coach, in the season you coached in the 2019 and with the Jamshedpur, you had 2 great captains and still we have a great captain. But what I feel that's missing is the command from the back, the command from the back line to all the players. I feel that's missing with Ryan. So how you see that, coach?
Well, I don't think it's missing with Ryan. I think Ryan's a very good captain. I think everybody will, when you've lost games, everybody has opinions, and it doesn't make them right or wrong, but it just makes what you see and what you think. But no, Ryan does very well. What I would say, and I think this is more to the general point, and I think it's a good point, I think we can be more, the whole team can be more vocal. You should, as much as Ryan's appointed the captain, when you're on that field, you should have 11 captains. When I play, I know we go back, and the older ones will know this, we all feel that in each generation becomes a little bit quieter in terms of footballers, but you need 11 leaders. I think something that Connor's getting better at, he can still improve on that as well, as can the other boys, the young Indian players, because everybody's different in terms of, if we look at everybody in this room, we all have different natures and different personalities. Some will be the life and soul of the party, some will be quiet, some will be reserved. That's fine, but when you're on that football field, you have to be a lion, every one of them. You understand? Because that's what it takes to win games. Everybody, coming to the party, whatever you want to call, and be vocal and organising. Because sometimes in football, which I think is a brilliant point, a really good shout, good information is as important as a good pass. But that's what we need. I think that's a good point, that we can do more of that collectively. I wouldn't single it out anybody else. I think Ryan's been a very good captain, but I think collectively we can do more of that. So I think that's a good point. I think that's fair. All good?
Yeah, just one question for Connor from publication. You haven't won at home yet, so does that add a sense of pressure when you go into tomorrow's game, for example?
No.
Okay.
Obviously we want to win at home, but that'll come and say if we don't perform tomorrow like we have done before against Odisha, North East, the games that we've won, I'm no problems. I think we'll win tomorrow, and then we'll kick on from there like we did last year.
Anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's very sad. No, at the end of the day, when you're, particularly at home, when we've not had a lot of And because of how much the relationship the players have and with the fans, as I said, that's important for us, that we try and put a smile on our face. Not only we do that is to win games, but the way you won't do it is feeling sorry for yourself. That's when everybody has to come together. The word supporter is to support, not just when you're winning, but to support every time. And our supporters do that to a fault. I mean, they're so loyal, they're colourful, they get behind the team. I thank them for that. And what I would say is, keep staying with your club. That's what you do. And you keep, when you start winning, then again, that's a great feeling collectively.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Let's get a picture.